Hey everybody, thanks for listening to Two in the Cooler. Before we get into the episode today, I've got to tell you about Instacart. That's right, Instacart is the best way to get your groceries in 2020. It is so convenient. They will get your favorite products from some of your favorite local stores delivered right to your door in as little as 1 hour. Right now, Two in the Cooler listeners get free delivery on their first order of $35 or more. All you have to do is hit the link in our show notes and start using Instacart. Today's episode is just Matthew and I, just Matt and Andy, getting right back to the basics. It's a fun, light episode. Matthew's getting back from vacation. I'm moving into a new apartment. Those are just a little details coming in there for you. But thank you guys for listening. Make sure you follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Two in the Cooler. Subscribe to our YouTube page and subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts and rate us if you get a chance. And also, as always, it means so much to us when you share the podcast with the people you care about. All right, guys, thank you again for listening. Here's the episode. Enjoy it.
All right, folks, we're back here. What is this, episode 20?
I think maybe something like that.
Episode 20. A lot going on in the world still to this day. Playoff hockey in full effect. Just had to throw that in there. Because I can see it in the background, and there's a fight going on right now. So that just
You're watching hockey right now while we're doing the podcast?
There's hockey in the distance. It's always on. There's hockey in the distance here. But, yeah, I have actually done nothing since the last time we talked, but at the same time, I've done absolutely everything.
Yeah.
What have you been up to? Let's go to you first. Let's see what's going on in the world of Andrew Canada.
Well, the people, they need a palate cleanser. We, as you can see,
I was going to say,
I am not being held captive in a warehouse. This is the new apartment that we just moved into.
caulking a few holes, eh?
Yep. So they got to come and paint over those at some point. Yeah, we moved into this new place. We still have like a bunch of stuff. Well, we still have some stuff at the old one because our lease there is till the end of the month, which has been really nice because there's not, I mean, we did rush to like get all our stuff in here just because we wanted to get it over with, but there wasn't
like beds and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. But there wasn't like pressure to be like, oh, we have to have everything out by this time or whatever. Now we can go back. I actually have laundry back at the other apartment. I need to drive back there right after this because there's a washing machine in this joint somewhere. I haven't been able to find it. But I really need laundry done. I have no underwear on. That's a little TMI for the people.
Underwear is overrated anyway. I haven't worn underwear in years.
You don't have to tell me that. So I just have on like these basketball shorts.
How free do you feel? How free?
How free do I feel? I'm not going to say I ever really feel free. But it feels okay. It doesn't feel terrible, but
I have a funny freedom story to bring up later in the podcast.
Okay,
Don't let me
forget. These aren't stories about not wearing underwear. They're called freedom stories. So if you've been,
it's unrelated to underwear. It's strictly
about freedom.
Yes, it's just about freedom.
Well, the reason I always wear underwear. Because, what'd you say for?
You had a little lag. I thought we were going to have some technical difficulties, but we battled.
Yeah, well, we'll see. It is what it is. Anyways, I always wear underwear. On the rare occasion that I don't, I always remember this time that we went to Florida. Anytime anybody brings up being commando, I always think about Matthew.
Me too.
You always think about yourself people
I
can
think
bring
about myself all the time.
Yeah,
anyway.
exactly. No matter what people bring up, you're thinking about that. But it was this time we were on our way to Disney World or Universal Studios, right?
Yeah, one of the two.
So I think
in a rental car.
we were in a rental. We were in a rental car. I think that I think we were on our way to Universal Studios, and you were like 6, so I'd be 7. Early in the morning, it's like, okay, let's get to the park. Hop in the rental car in Orlando. Mom and Dad are up front, and we're ready to go. Everybody's buckled in, and we're not out of the driveway yet. And I look over, and I see Matthew's dick hanging out.
I didn't know you saw my dick.
That's why I said. Because I go, Matthew, where are your underwear? And you're like, I'm not wearing any.
Fucking right.
And
It's
they
the
were
most
like,
comfortable way to
we're
live.
going
Hey,
to Disney World. Put underwear on. So you had to go back into the dad, like, took you back into the house and, like, made you put underwear back on to go to
I don't
the
remember
park.
that. I thought I remember being like in the car on the way and being like, yeah, I haven't. Like, somehow it came up that I had no underwear on, and I was just like, yeah, I went to Disney World with no underwear on. I don't know. I was a young lad. I don't really not wear underwear in public. I wear underwear in public, but if I'm in the privacy of my own home, no chance I'm wearing underwear.
That's why our cameras only go from the chest up here
Yeah.
for the video.
Yeah. Well, so just a lot of moving then, huh?
A lot of moving. The coolest thing about having a job is that we were able to
There's
hire.
nothing.
Well, aside from nothing, it's that we had the money to hire people to move some stuff
Your
for us.
stuff?
Not all of
That's
it.
unbelievable.
I wish, because that would have been nice, because it was a pain getting in some of the stuff. I got beat up. I got this massive bruise on my shin. Oh my god, it's
I got
a
a good
tough
cut
time.
going on
It's a
in the
tough
shin,
time.
too.
Mm-hmm.
See that one right there?
I can kind of see it. I think mine here.
See, and he's showing off some leg. Oh yeah, that's a bruise right
See it?
there.
That's about
That's a
half.
good bruise.
That's about half of it, because it goes around the whole.
Yeah, that's a
it
really
goes around
good
the whole
bruise.
shin. So,
Yeah.
not that we're measuring, but
Yes, I mean a lot of similar things on that front for me. I had my vacation, which we'll get into.
Mhm.
Got back, and I got my whole new setup set up today. So a little bit same view, different angle we got going here. Finally, got my podcast station ready to go now that we're in the new place. And I've just been putting together furniture all day. I put together this desk. I put together the chair. I put together a TV stand. So that's pretty much been my whole day. Same thing with the laundry too. We have to wait until the pipe for the washing machine hookup gets fixed in our new apartment. So as of right now, our washer and dryer are still at Alex's old apartment. So in order to do laundry, we actually have to drive there to do it. It's not that far, but
yeah.
And
It's like 20
just
minutes to the old place.
yeah, it's just annoying because you're not in the comfort of your own home, and you have to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It sucks. That's very privileged of us to say.
It is,
because
but it's-
the laundry mats exist for that reason. But
I know.
it just sucks. But it's nice that you still have the other place, so you don't have to. You don't have to be going out in public necessarily.
Yeah, just because you
Not
can
a
get
whole lot
so
going
much
on.
stuff
Yeah.
done, like when you have
Yeah.
laundry going, and otherwise you gotta like sit and watch it and stuff.
Yeah,
which
exactly.
is what
You gotta
I
go
was
back and
probably
forth.
gonna have to do at the old place, just like sit and hang out. But I had to come here and do the podcast with you, so
Yeah. Hey, sorry for being such an inconvenience to you, brother. Guess what?
I'm used to
Don't
it
care.
by now.
But yeah, so got back from the vacation on Monday.
Yeah. So where did you
so we
go
kinda
exactly?
mentioned-
I think
yeah.
I think it was mentioned.
So
a
we
little
went
bit.
away from, we went last Wednesday and stayed till Monday, so 5 days. Same kind of setup as that music festival we go to, Boots and Hearts, which is canceled. RIP. Would have been, I believe it would have been.
It was like next
we
week,
would've-
right?
No, we would have been we would have been getting there today. So a little sad on that front. But anyway, life goes on. Went on this vacation. We had an awesome time. The place was unbelievable. There was like 8. It was too big for how many people we had. It was listed on Airbnb for like I think 14 people. We went with 12, but we were like, oh, it'll be comfortable. You could have slept 30 people in this place. On top of the fact that in just beds alone. And the place itself was humongous. outside beautiful hot tub, this beautiful pond with this floating dock, all this open grassy space. It was awesome. We, at Boots and Hearts, you go there for one reason, really. Well, you go there to listen to country music, but you're stuck in tents. You're outside. The only thing to do all day is just gas as many beers as possible. You're going there for one reason and one reason only, and it's to try to be the drunkest person in Oromadante. So we go on this vacation, and we brought more people than we usually do, people who don't really like country music, because it wasn't Boots and Hearts, but it was our friends. So we're like, yeah, and they could not hang. A lot of people could not hang, and it was honestly it was way easier. Like, usually my body is destroyed for like 3 to 5 days after Boots and Hearts. This place, you got a bedroom, a dark bedroom with air conditioning that you got to sleep in every night, like actual showers, like actual food. Boots and Hearts, you're waking up in a tent, like quick shit in a porta potty, and then you start your day, and that's at 8 a.m. because it's so hot in your tent. You know what I mean? Like, this was luxury Boots and Hearts. And I'll say the only people that really put on a performance was myself and my good friend Andrew Logar. And boy, did we ever put on a performance.
Well,
I would
he never
say that
disappoints.
no, he of all people never disappoints. And man, oh man, did we have some fun. This is where I was getting into my freedom story. So I get out of the hot tub one night, and it's pretty late. It's like 2 a.m., and some people are inside, some people are still in the hot tub. So I go inside to change out of my wet bathing suit. It's like 2:30 in the morning. I'm gonna whip up like a pizza or something. Have a few more pops before I go to bed, and I get back from changing, and everybody's like, "Oh, like where's Logar?" And I'm like, "I don't know where Logar is." And they're like, "Oh, we just assumed he was with you." And I was like, "No." So then they're like, "We don't know where he is." So I walk outside, and the way that it's set up is, like, when you walk out the back door, the hot tub's right on the left, and then there's like this big picnic table covered area, and then there's a huge, like, full tennis court, basketball court.
Oh my god.
And then on the other side of it is like this big grassy hill that goes down to like all the grassy area that like leads up to the pond. So I walk down onto the basketball court, and it's pitch black. It's foggy, mind you. I can't really see anything, but all I can hear coming from the bottom of the hill is, "Woo!" Like as loud as you could possibly imagine. And we had a slip and slide there. So I walked down there, and Logar had gone down the slip and slide, and he's sitting at the bottom of the hill on a plastic folding table, and he's got his arms on the plastic folding table, his back like fully arched, like just puffing his chest out, and he's screaming. Mind you, he's down here alone. It's almost 3 o'clock in the morning, screaming at the top of his lungs, "Nobody can yell at me down here. I'm so free." Woo! And then, like, I go down there, so then, like, the people realize he's down there, and there's people at the top of the hill looking at us, and he's yelling back up to the top of the hill, "You guys want the freest 10 minutes of your life? Come down here." Woo! Screaming. And I like, to the point where I didn't want to leave him down here. I was pretty tuned up as well, but, like, in my kind of, like, okay, process a moment for a second state, I was like, I probably shouldn't leave him down here so that he doesn't try to swim in the pond. So I'm trying to get him back up here, and he's like, "I'm not going anywhere. I've never felt so free in my life." Woo! Just screaming at the top of his lungs. And that is without a doubt probably one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my entire life.
That is true freedom.
And that's my freedom story. And he was in an absolute state of true freedom at that point in time. Underwear didn't matter to him. He could have had a straight jacket on. If you would have let him scream like that, he's never felt more free in his goddamn life. And that is on America.
You nailed it. If that's not the U.S., I don't know what
Yeah.
is. That's
But it was
so
a great
funny. No one can yell
Actually,
at me down here.
I have a few
that's too
other
good.
good stories.
I'm sure you do.
The place was, so it was in Pennsylvania, like rural Pennsylvania, like near Scranton kind of.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at, we took a bunch of the girls had Polaroid pictures, so we got a bunch of good Polaroid pictures. I actually hung some up right behind my desk, so I'm just looking at the place, and it's just It was so much fun. This place, it was so much space, and the people who like work for the Airbnb were so friendly but fucking weird. Friendly in
Like
the sense
Get
that
Out
like
style.
they were telling us like, no, not like murdery weird,
Oh, okay.
but they were telling us like, because when we got there, they were still there like cleaning up the place, like cutting the lawn, like making sure everything was clean. So I started talking to the one guy and his son, and they like are like loosely so pretty much the people who own this actual house, this cabin, own 110 acres of land that it's on, and they have like 3 other cabins I believe that they rent out for Airbnbs. Then they have this huge what used to be a farm that they like store, and like it's pretty much the shop for the people that are like the maintenance people. And then somewhere else on the land there's 3 other smaller cabins that the family that owns it uses just for themselves. So the caretaker people, I guess we'll call them, were telling us all these crazy stories about like parties that people had had in this place. Because it said right
Like
in the
renters?
Airbnb listing, yeah, it said like you can pay a little bit more, or like you must like notify if you're gonna have a party, like there may be a fee. And we were like, we're not having a party. But I talked to the lady beforehand, like, hey, like there's 12 of us going, like we're going to like have a good time. Like there's only gonna be 12 of us, but like, and there was actually only 11 of us. So these people were telling us like there's been crazy like hundreds of people parties here where they have DJs and shit set up in the tennis courts, and they just like these crazy parties. And the last day we actually asked the guys like, compared to the crazy parties, like how would we do? Because we save all our beer cans, we make what's called a graveyard,
Mhm.
and we just leave them all on the ground, all the empty beer cans. And we were like, how'd we do? And they were like, damn, like you guys did pretty good, like that's a lot of empty cans. But anyway, they
Well, that
seemed
was
really
after a week.
yeah, 5 days.
That's still not bad.
They were really cool in a sense where like we were like, I was like, so like, is there do's and don'ts? Like, can we set up a slip and slide in this grass? Because we had brought big tarps, and they were like, dude, you guys can do whatever the fuck you want, like have a good time. And we were like, worst thing you could have told us, but all right, here we go. But then like we offered them like a beer the one time and like whatever, and then the one day like they were coming by to bring us more firewood, and we offered them a beer, and they hung out for like 3 hours, like just drinking our beer, and we were kind of like, yo, I mean, not that you guys are doing anything unfriendly, but like, go the fuck home, like,
Wow.
because they were very like backwoodsy, like rural town people.
Yeah.
And one
Like
thing that came to
friendly
our
people that
attention
like
was,
hanging out.
but one thing that came to our attention was like, we were there with like everybody's like girlfriends, and like, you know, like I think me and my friends do pretty well for ourselves. I don't think that they'd really ever seen like girls like look maybe as good as like the girls looked in their bathing suits, stuff like that. And I guess they
Oh.
were just like, I didn't notice this, but I guess the girls said they were getting like they were very starey. And I was like, hey, take it as a compliment. But enough had been enough, and we kind of just like all snuck away from the conversation. And the 2 of them sat there alone for like a little bit, and then I think they realized like, all right, like I guess we'll get out of here. But all in all, fucking great vacation. Definitely some good fun. What do you
Yeah,
got?
that sounds good. Those guys sound a little strange, but I think that could be a good point. Like they just never, you don't
Yeah.
get down at the fucking gas station or
No.
wherever they drink around there. You don't get girls that look like that.
Yeah, so I don't know.
I feel like because parts of like rural Pennsylvania are honestly like Georgia, and I think a lot of people from not from like our area or areas closer to there, they don't know that there's this whole other side of that state.
Oh yeah.
'Cause they'll think,
I mean,
like
I'll
Philadelphia
say
or whatever, but
If
they don't,
I mean,
they don't see it as
rural
like
Pennsylvania,
straight up country. Like I said, it's basically Georgia in some parts.
rural Pennsylvania is about as close as you can get to living life south of the Mason-Dixon line while still being north of the Mason-Dixon line. I've been there a few times,
Yeah.
and it's you can have some fun out there though. I don't know. It was a great vacation. Yeah, we had some funny shit happened. A lot of beers. I don't know. I can't even remember half of it, to be honest.
Yeah.
But the another crazy thing I want to bring up was I said to Alex, like, my phone was plugged into the speaker almost the entire time. Like, I would go to sleep and wake up without my phone. I didn't check my phone at all. And Alex said to me, because even though he had his phone, he wasn't really checking it. I mean, they had Wi-Fi, like, you could have got, sir. But he was like, dude, 2020 is the craziest time ever to go 5 days without going on your phone. Not even that much crazy shit happened, but, like, enough stuff happened in that 5 days that in other years would have been probably extremely newsworthy that we saw and we were like, eh.
What did you miss? What did you miss when you were? I don't even know what happened this week.
I don't even. I never even cared to catch up, to be honest.
Yeah,
I've been busy.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I was doing this stuff all day today, yesterday. Yesterday I actually didn't do shit, but it was like my melt day. Like, I just sat there and just stared at the TV all day. Like, got a little bit of rest.
Well, that's an interesting point because at this point, I mean, obviously, you're probably right. It's especially in this crazy year that we've had, and it's still going strong, I think. But
Yeah, we still got an election. Don't forget.
with like Jesus Christ, with like going on vacations and stuff, you know, a couple years ago, even up to you rent a cabin like that or whatever, and that sounds like a pretty goddamn nice place. But some other spots, you know, you start to see like free Wi-Fi, like Wi-Fi included, pop up on places. I think that now we're gonna start to shift to places that don't have Wi-Fi being a
So, because
commodity.
people don't want it.
Exactly,
Yeah, 'cause people
like-
don't want it.
Vacations are more so than ever, and almost more so than anything else. Not just like getting away, like, oh, I don't have to go to work for a couple days, but it's like I don't have to be on my phone and I don't have
Yeah.
to check anything. Like that's part of the vacation as much as anything else is, right?
Yeah, two of my friends, like, they're a couple. It's actually Logar. Fucking Logar. He's getting a lot of shout outs in this episode. Him and his girlfriend, Maria, they went just a little bit prior. They rented just a small Airbnb for just the two of them for, like, a long weekend, secluded in Ohio, and they had no phone service. They had a landline. He prank called me one day off the landline while they
That's
were there.
awesome.
But yeah, like, that's so crazy to me how, like, much you would miss if you couldn't even get, like, a text. Like think about, like, your group messages with your friends and stuff
Yeah.
like that, or, like, even just, like, people, like, will find random, like, will randomly text you. Like, that level of communication is just off the charts. And like, shit like that when you met, like, I was getting, I don't know, like, that's crazy. It was so much fun though. I mean, it was so
Yeah.
nice to just have nothing to do but just, like, literally wake up and fucking have fun, drink beers. And my problem is, for some people it's not fun to wake up and drink beers for 5 days straight because their body feels horrible. But for me, like, that is exactly what I want to do when I have nothing to do for 5 days and I'm on
Yeah.
vacation. I want to physically just do that 24/7. Sleep as little as possible. I'll figure that out when I get home.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, that kind of thing.
That's right. Schedule like a recoup day, you know? You're off for 6 days.
Yeah.
Go
oh,
for
always.
5 and
Always.
then have
You always.
because that's
I have
all you
already-
need is
my
one
s-
day to recuperate. Unless I mean
Yeah.
Boots and Hearts, I know
I
sometimes
already-
that
if you-
but that's a special.
Well, if you really have
whole
nothing
deal.
to do,
Yeah.
though. Like, I've already retired. I retired this year already, officially, from Guys Lumber. Never have to go back to work there in my
Wow.
life. But in the past, when I would go to Boots and Hearts and come back and have to start working again, we would come back on Monday. I would always take off that Tuesday, too, because you need that extra day to just, Boots and Hearts especially, to just, like, shower 14 times, sleep, and eat, like, a million salads.
yeah,
Yeah.
seriously. I've been eating like shit since like we started moving things. Because
Yeah,
we
that
don't really
sucks.
have any like we don't even have like a garbage can really. So I don't want
Yeah.
like a bunch of food waste or whatever, you know what I mean? Like
So you just
I don't
ordering
have
food
anything
and
to
then
put it or like anywhere to put it. Yeah, exactly. So
DoorDash figured out your address already, or what?
Nah, I just go to like Wegmans or something. I haven't gotten anything delivered. I'm not a big deliver person. I don't know
Oh,
why. I don't.
that's where you go so wrong in life.
I know. It's not the way. But
I
you know
get
what?
so much food delivered.
Because I'm just not used to. Like, look, I know I'm an old man in a lot of ways, but like, it's so weird to me that you can get like McDonald's delivered to your house. Like somebody will
It's
just go
awesome.
pick it up for you. It is cool, but that's just such a.
You can get
I still
Wegmans
have
delivered
trouble
too.
like wrapping my head
Wegmans-
around all that.
Wegmans has their own app where you can get like all their sushis or subs,
know,
any of
I
that
know.
stuff delivered.
And I have that app, and I will order on it to pick it up.
Pick it up.
Every
That's
time.
crazy.
Yeah.
See, my thing is, I order like if I'm gonna order food, I'll go on like DoorDash or Uber Eats or whatever. And the way it works, and I know this because I have some buddies that deliver DoorDash, is like you ever go on there and you see like a 5-minute timer of food that you can order with free delivery.
I think I've heard
So
of
what
that.
what works is that means that somebody else in your area ordered from either one of those places or a place that's close by. So you actually it's like sharing a driver, so you get
Right.
free delivery.
It's like
so you're
Uber
still
Pool.
paying like $2.99 extra in like whatever fee.
Sure,
But for an
delivery.
extra $3 sometimes to not have to move. I mean, I guess like I'm one of the people who is willing to spend that money, and I know everybody probably isn't, but that is an absolute steal for me. If I see like Marty Taco free delivery, oh my god, I'm taking it to the face every
That's a
single
good call.
day.
But also, even on like short trips, like Wegman's like 5 minutes away. Like I just like going. I like being in the car and listening to my podcasts, and just like drive. Because honestly, if I could live perpetually in one state, it would probably be just like driving and listening to podcasts or music even.
See,
But I can't do that because I mean gas, and like if I have no place to go, what's the point? So even if it's a short distance, I like driving there. I like the whole outing of it, or not even that. Just that you have to do something. Like I like listening to my podcast on the way there. I'll put headphones sometimes in to go, just so that I can like listen while I'm in the store or whatever. I like that.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I get that. See, I hate driving, like just in general. I hate having to get in my car and operate it. I would so much rather be
Yeah.
doing anything else. And two, fuck, I did two. Oh, two, like you said, you like listening to your podcast. I don't like listening to podcasts in like 7-minute segments. Like if I'm gonna listen to a podcast, I want to sit down and listen to it
Sure.
for an hour, 2 hours, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Like I like to like wake up in the morning, put a podcast on as I like check my phone in the morning, and then listen to it while I shower and get
Mhm.
ready and get dressed. And then I'll continue to listen to it as I get in my car and drive to work or drive to wherever, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or like if I'm making breakfast, or like, you know what I mean? Like I'll listen to it for like that hour and a half, 2-hour chunk of my day where I'm getting ready, and then that hour and a half, 2-hour chunk of my day where I'm like getting home, showering, cooking dinner, stuff like that. That's when that's my podcast time. I
Yeah.
can't, because when I listen to it in like 7-minute segments, I don't know. I lose like, not track, but like when you're listening to something, it's a conversation or a story or it's something funny, and like you know what I mean. I don't like to break it up like that.
I get that. I don't
I
know.
know that's. So I guess
It's just
everybody's different.
Yeah,
in that
exactly.
sense.
It's just different for me. Like I kind of like, you know, I always think about. I have this problem where I'm like never present. Like my mind is always. I'm either always like somewhere else, or I always think that like my brain is always at a minimum of 12 minutes in the future. You know what I mean? Like I'm like
Yeah,
doing this. It's a
Like,
little
yeah.
better, but.
but like when you're doing other things, you're always thinking about something else.
Literally
kind of.
anything but this, basically. I'm always
actually
like,
know
what's
for
the
a
next,
fact
like,
that
what's
that's
the
how
next
you
thing?
are.
Like, what's the next thing that's
Because-
gonna happen? How's this gonna go? I just try to like see all the pieces and try to plan
Yeah, but
ahead for things. But like
I
said,
agree that
yeah,
you do
it's-
that. It makes you an
I'm not
absolute
saying
space cadet sometimes. So, like, you ever like sometimes you'll say something to you and you'll just be in a completely different like realm.
I'm
in that
never.
moment in
I'm
time.
any
Especially
wherever
when
I
you
am.
drive.
I'm never there. Oh,
No,
when I
I
drive,
know.
when I met you and Dad in Batavia, I was driving home and I ended up going an extra 20 minutes out of the way because I missed my exit because I was just thinking about other stuff. And I had the fucking GPS screen. Literally, it's fucking it's CarPlay. It's right there. And
Yeah.
I just totally passed it. And I didn't even realize I passed it until like 2 minutes later. I was like, "Oh, my arrival time."
This
is
brings up the
increased by, like,
conversation of the
20
fact that
minutes.
I don't think you could get from our parents' house to your apartment without a GPS after a year of you living there. And on top of that, I know you do that because I've seen you do it, and that's crazy to me. But I get like that sometimes where I drive in the sense where, and this is horrible to say, but I bet you're like this too now that I think about it. Do you ever drive like from? No, actually, you're probably not like this because you have bad directions. But I'm good. Like if I drive somewhere once, I usually like know how to get there. So I don't like. I just like driving is muscle memory to me, and there'll be
Yeah.
times where I drive home, and I'll get home or like I'll get to wherever I'm going, and I'll be like, dude, I was just in the car for 20 minutes, and I don't remember driving here at all. Like I have no memory of driving. I couldn't tell you if I stopped at a light. I don't even, like, I'm like, how did I even make this turn? Like I don't even, like, did I almost get hit by a car? Was I cutting people off? I don't know. I just completely like don't even think about the fact that I'm driving.
See, I do the same thing, but it's interesting. It's like the other side of the coin because that's why I have the GPS on basically everywhere I go. Just because, it's just that blue line. You just have to go with the blue line.
Yeah.
And again, I'm free to, get distracted, think about other stuff,
Yeah.
basically. Not distracted,
Hey.
but you know what I mean.
You do
But
what you got to
bringing it
do.
all back into podcasts, that's what I like because it stimulates that part of my brain that I'm always existing
you're
in
engaged.
anyways.
Yeah.
Which and
Engaging
like
conversation.
it's most of the time I really struggle with it honestly, but like when I'm listening to the podcasts, it just it like it greases the wheels. So instead
Yeah.
of them squeaking along, which they do every moment of every day otherwise, when I'm listening to it, it helps smooth them over. So that's why
Yeah.
I like, no matter what, listening to in segments or a whole thing, whatever. I'm into it.
To flip the script a little bit on everybody here, there's another thing I wanted to bring up, and it kind of goes back to something we've talked about a few times on this podcast. Bit of a segment that we were thinking about, but then it wasn't even worth it because we realized that it was very unexciting.
Yeah.
But going back to the date, remember the whole date conversation and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So no date tonight, but the reason we're recording a little earlier today, actually going out to dinner. Well,
Oh,
no,
what is about to
having
happen?
dinner, with
no.
Hannah and our parents.
No way.
Yeah. Well, so mom, you know how mom gets about birthdays ever since. Well, first of all, let me tell a story, and then it all ties back in.
Okay.
So when we were younger, we were always in Florida for Andrew's birthday.
Mm-hmm.
So one year for Andrew's birthday, and it's kind of his own fault. He wasn't very clear with what he wanted. So if when we're in Florida, you don't know what you
Okay.
No. When you're like,
I wanna
if you're
interrupt
going to
you so
Florida as a
bad, but
parent, you have to know what the child wants beforehand so that you can get it, bring it, or ship it down there, and know you can get it down there. Andrew wasn't very clear, so long story short, on his birthday, all he received was a card and
Okay,
a
hold
card
on, stop
with
right
the promise
okay.
that there would be further presents
There was
once we
no
returned to New York.
promise. There was no promise.
There was a promise that they would receive further.
There was no
okay.
promise.
So anyway,
I wake
there's
up.
been an ongoing joke.
I wake up the day of my birth. I'm another year older, and I'm very excited to get a present, frankly. I mean, again...
Because we were younger, too. Like, it was like...
God. I can't even remember. I feel like
Maybe like
the
13,
latest it was
12.
like when I was in 6th grade. And so...
Yeah, so like 12.
Yeah, I was just excited because you get a present. And you don't know what it's going to be. And, you're kind of... And this is speaking for my younger self. I don't feel like this now necessarily. But, like, you kind of just expect the people who are giving you a present to, know you well enough to get you something that you're gonna like, right? And so I get up, and all I got for my birthday was a chocolate bar. Here's the thing: it wasn't even king sized. It was just regular 79 cents.
A regular
That's how much they
Heath
were.
bar.
Just a regular Heath bar, less than $1.
Regardless of that, there's been an ongoing joke. Back to my story. There's been an ongoing joke in our family of like only getting a Heath bar for your birthday,
Yeah.
or like not getting a birthday present, whatever.
Everybody who hears that story, and even our parents sometimes, for birthdays, Christmas, people just give me Heath bars all the time. And I like Heath bars, so I don't mind.
So for all you listening, send Andrew Heath
Yes,
bars. 'Cause he
send
loves them.
Heath bars, care of Andrew Canada.
So for my birthday this year, as for many years in the past now, our parents are usually away on my birthday. They're usually at Seneca Lake, or I would usually either be in Boston and on my way to Seneca Lake or in Seneca Lake, whatever. Same kind of scenario. So they were away, and my mom was like, "What do you want for your birthday?" Blah blah blah. And I was like, "You know what? Like, we'll just go to the mall together one day after my birthday, and I'll just pick out a few shirts. Like, it's nothing crazy, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not super invested in receiving birthday presents anymore. I just things that I need and wear, so you
Yeah.
know. And I like to be there to pick them out because I'm very particular about my clothes. So anyway, and also mom loves birthday dinners. Like she loves, like, you know what I mean? Like, oh, if, like, let's go out to birthday dinner, blah blah blah. So, and Hannah's birthday is the day before mine. It's July 19th. So mom's been like wanting to go on a birthday dinner, but like they were away and then I was on vacation, whatever, and been like keeps bringing it up, like, hey, like pick a day for dinner, blah blah. Like we'll go out for dinner with Hannah, whatnot. So the problem with going out to dinner with mom and dad and bringing Hannah is that Hannah is a very picky eater. She doesn't like seafood. She doesn't like steak. She doesn't like pork. She only likes chicken, really.
Buddy,
in
you
nugget
are talking
form,
to
really.
the right guy.
Yeah.
Buddy, this
Okay, yeah, but Zoe has been around for long enough where now when we go out to dinner, like she's one, like not embarrassed of what she
Right.
orders, and two, like doesn't really give her trouble. Hannah does not need
But
to
I'm
be
just saying, I
thrown
know
in that
what you're
wagon.
going through because obviously at one point
So,
you had to do the exact same thing.
I told them both, I said, like, listen, like, and I think they're a little bit more, like, accustomed of me, like, or, like, understanding of me because they've already been through it with you, and I don't usually bring, you know what I mean? I don't
Yeah.
usually, like, really, like, I guess, talk to female, whatever, you know what I mean? And I don't want to use the G word, but, like, have female acquaintances, and,
Yeah.
don't
yeah.
fucking,
Oh.
and so I was saying, like, we'll go, like I said, we'll do this Wednesday, but we need to, like, pick the right spot. Like, send me some options. Like, I'll look through menus, like, see what.
Send me some options.
And there was definitely some. Well, the place I really wanted to go was the Phillips Western Door, which is in the Buffalo Seneca Casino. They've got this beautiful outdoor patio on, like, the 5th floor of the casino that overlooks Buffalo.
That's supposed to be
It's really
one of
nice.
like, the swankiest places around, right?
They're not open though. They're still not open because of the Vidi. So I'm like, what the fuck? So I didn't really love any of the other options that, you know, would make things go as smoothly as I thought. And so I was like, all right, how about we just have dinner at our house, Mom? Like, well, like, if like you, because she usually doesn't mind cooking when like it's a dinner like that. So then we had to figure out the menu for. I don't know. It's this whole huge disaster.
Figure out the menu.
Because I was like, I still want like a good meal for my birthday.
Yeah,
dinner.
exactly.
But
No,
it
I
has to
know
be-
exactly what you mean.
So mom's like, well, I can make like a version of paella, but I'll make a separate tray with just chicken and rice, like no seafood, no sausage, no anything. So I'm like, okay, so that's what's on the menu for tonight. Another thing that we didn't discuss was dessert. Mom loves getting cakes and stuff like that. I hate cake. I don't like to eat
I don't
cake.
like cake either. I have
And she
always
always
hated cake.
has cake, and she always gets offended even when it's not my birthday, when I don't eat said cake. So I'm curious if she thought about this and is going to force me to eat cake for my late birthday dinner that I don't like. Or, Mom, I love you, and you are so nice to us. But this is really what I'm thinking right now, because this, obviously you're not going to hear this beforehand. So one, I'm curious to, and Hannah's like freaking out, like nervous. I'm like, one, there's no reason to be nervous because its mom is very understanding.
Uh-huh.
And I said, two, it's not that dad's gonna not like you, but he's not gonna sit there and ask you business questions like he does to like me or Alex when like she's been like gently exposed to him, like, you know what I mean. So I don't know, she's freaking out. I'm curious to see how it goes. So
Yeah.
I think that's one thing I'm really looking forward to talking about on the next podcast is how that goes from experience, your own personal experience. What do you think she's in for? I'm curious.
I wonder. Well, I remember, gosh, I'm trying to remember back to 5 years when that sort of thing would have happened. I think that it's gonna be okay.
Oh, I'm not nervous at all.
Yeah, I'm
Like,
speaking to Hannah, I guess, at this point.
Yeah.
I think that Zoe would obviously be a lot better to answer for than this. Well, but here's the thing that's different is when I sort of took Zoe to have dinner
Yeah.
with mom and dad first, we went to a restaurant, and whenever dad goes to a restaurant with somebody, he's a pusher. He's like, this, you have to eat this like crazy thing that you've never heard
Yeah.
of. But I tried once when I was traveling for business, and now you have to eat it.
Yeah.
Because
you have to.
yeah.
I'm ordering it, and you have to eat it.
And if you
Yeah.
don't, I'm gonna harass you, and then I'm gonna try and rip into you, and I'm gonna bring it up for the next 2 years every time I see you.
Yep. Zoe still gets made fun of for not eating oysters to
Yep,
this day.
every time. Every
Yeah.
time, like every time there's an ocean breeze, it's like, oh, the oysters, you better watch out. Could be some oysters in there. You never know. I know you don't like them. But so that's I think what's going to be the biggest difference is that you guys already have a set menu. You know
Yeah.
what's going down. What's
that
going on
I
eating to the
specifically
table,
put in place in hopes that
to avoid just that
yeah,
just that conflict.
but I still think there'll be like like there's another full like part of it that will have like the seafood and the sausage and the chicken, and I'm curious to see because I feel like Dad'll still be like, oh, you gotta try
Oh,
the
yeah,
sausage. The
yeah.
sausage is so good, and
Just have a little bit. Just have a little
Yeah.
piece.
the other thing that I told her when I first like met her, like when we were first like went on our first date or whatever, I had asked her if she liked wine, and she was like, "Oh my God, yeah, I love wine." And I've since then grown to know that she likes like barefoot pink Moscato,
Mhm.
like you know what I mean, like or sangria, like very
yeah,
sweet wine.
Yeah.
And I told her I said if my dad asks you if you like wine and you want a glass of wine, just say no, say you don't like it because you're gonna hate it.
Yeah. Yeah.
She's like, she was like, well, I only really hate like super dry reds, and I was like, exactly. So say you don't want wine. Like say I order.
Right. Because
I ordered
you
Jack and
don't
Coke.
like wine.
Yeah.
You like
Yeah.
you like juice
Juice.
boxes.
You
Yeah,
like apple
like
juice.
juice.
Yeah. You literally like apple juice that gets you drunk. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, and she like obviously like admits that she's like I literally like wine that tastes like apple juice.
Yeah. Hey, nothing to each their own.
Yeah. No, I don't like any of it. So yeah. So it's gonna be interesting. Hopefully,
hilarious.
I think that I set myself up for success. Not really myself. I think I set Hannah up for success, which I think is very understanding of me.
Yeah, you
I also
you
did a really nice
have
thing. Look at
you've got
look
a
at-
risky hand, but you're playing it well.
see
What are
those?
those
Wait,
flowers?
those are flowers. Look at that. Super adult of me.
Who are those
$5
for?
at Wegmans. Hannah.
Okay.
How about that?
How about that? You tell me, man. I don't.
And when I was picking them out at Wegmans, there was an old lady that said, "Oh, those are really pretty." So
I wonder. There's gotta be. I have this theory that there are just these old women that they don't have anything to do, so they just like
And they
go.
just stand
they
around the
just
flower
go to
section.
like grocery stores or florists and jewelers and be like, "Oh, she'll love it." They just tell any.
Yeah.
And then they come home and they get on the phone with their sister and like, Muriel, I just told this kid to buy the ugliest fucking
Ugliest
bracelet
fuck.
for his girlfriend.
They think, yeah, they talk about it at their next book club. I don't know.
Like, I would
That's
have
a
let
funny
the
point.
Nazis take that shit off me.
Whoa, come on, Andy. Nazi reference. Jeez.
It's history. It happened. It wasn't
Um,
good. I'm not saying it's a good thing.
I personally hate
I
flowers.
thought you were going to say,
like,
I
to buy for
personally
somebody.
hate Nazis. I can't speak for
Well,
everyone.
I do. I don't love Nazis either. But I like gardening and stuff. Like, I think that one day I will take pride in having a garden. But at my current point in life, I hate buying flowers to like put in a vase because they just fucking die, Andy.
I know.
They just die. It is the stupidest thing ever. Girls, women, whatever, love them. They love the gesture,
Yeah.
and I get that. But they're so dumb. You are spending money on something that is legitimately going to die. From a business perspective, flowers are the worst investment ever.
That's a great point. Here's my thing.
They
with them.
depreciate instantly.
They're already depreciated by the time you get there
Yeah.
in the store.
I also have them in a beer pitcher. That's what I have them in. A little bit of water in the bottom of the beer pitcher right now.
I
But I
like
didn't
that.
put the.
think that's-
Oh, this is
I think
actually a
that's
question.
nice.
I almost Googled it. I didn't take the packet because you know how you like unwrap them and take the packet out.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna give them to her still. I'm not gonna give them to her in the beer pitcher. So I didn't take the packet out. So I hope my sink water just doesn't kill them. I think the packet's just to keep them alive longer though, right?
Yeah, the packet
And the
like
water will just-
prolongs the
Yeah.
health of them or something
It
like
prolongs them to just eventually still
that.
die.
Yeah, I don't have an issue with the fact that they're gonna die. That's just what's gonna happen. So I don't care that they die. I just care that I have to deal with it. Like somebody's gonna have to deal with it. I don't even like buying them because they never fit in the vase. So you have to cut them to size to fit in the vase. What do you use? What do you use to do that?
Scissors.
Scissors?
Yeah.
That's terrible. It's slow. It's
You
terrible.
don't cut them all
process.
at once. You just cut the whole thing. You gotta
Yeah,
get better
and
scissors.
It's slow. And it's just
I don't know.
awful. and then
That's
ugh.
not my issue.
And
with
then
them. I just
they just sit
you gotta
there.
get
They
rid of
die,
them.
and then,
They die, and then you gotta throw them out.
Exactly. And then they sit there for a while.
And like at
'cause
the
you
end
don't
of their
wanna do
life, they
anything
look
with
like
them.
shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, they start to look like shit, and you're like, I should throw those out. I don't know. Fuck flowers. I don't know. But I got them.
That's true.
So +1 me.
Chalk
Super nice
it up.
gesture on
Chalk
me.
it up. Yeah, way to go. Jesus Christ.
Okay. Away from that, I think we should maybe dip our toes, get our toes a little soggy
Yeah.
into the who would win of the week. No, how's that sound?
Yeah, that sounds good to me.
Does that tickle your fancy?
My fancy's tickled. It's stimulated.
Your
My fancy
it's
is certainly stimulated.
Okay, now we're crossing the line a little bit into weird conversation.
No, not at all. I'm not trying to be weird. All I'm
You're
saying is
talking
there's a
about being
little there's a
stimulated,
pinky
and you have no
in
underwear
my
on.
in my fancy.
And now there's a pinky.
no, I'm not.
Oh, no. X-rated version of Two and Cooler. Jesus Christmas, folks. We're getting off the rails. All right, this week's Who Would Win of the Week is Happy Gilmore versus Bobby Boucher.
That's right. Two Sandler characters. One
Two
the
Sandler
titular
characters.
Happy Gilmore. The other
This is a battle.
the Water Boy. This is a battle of all the Sandler characters that there have been through the years. These are the two that. This is the toughest matchup.
Yeah, these are the two that match up the best. That's kind of. Also, I think something that you have to factor in right away before you get into anything else is they're both fucking idiots. Realistic. They're both dumb. Like,
Well, dumb is a general term, perhaps, but it's interesting to see where it comes from. Bobby Boucher is naive. He's just an ignorant fuck, right? He just doesn't know
Yeah.
any better. Whereas,
Mama said that alligators are so angry all the time because they got all those
maybe-
teeth and no toothbrush to brush them.
To
But in reality, it's just the
clean
fucking
with.
Abdullah Oblongata, you fucking idiot.
that's not what Mama said.
Well, Mama can suck one, buddy.
That is so funny. But so Bobby's just very naive, and Happy Gilmore is just a narcissist. Basically, he's just ignorant to, or he's like some kind of he's like a sociopath. I don't know.
And over again. Also, a thing to consider. So here's the thing. They're both just, from a physical perspective, match up fantastic.
Yeah, obviously.
They have like the same mindset. Happy Gilmore is the only person ever to take a skate off in a hockey game and throw it at somebody. And I've
So
played in a
he's
lot of
elite.
hockey games.
So he's elite.
I've played in a lot of hockey games, and he is by far the only person I think that's ever done that in the world. That is an unbelievable maneuver. The batting cage scene. He fights an alligator. But on the other hand, you got Bobby Boucher, who hits harder than anybody's ever been hit before.
That's true.
He brings a football team that is absolute ass, and for no reason, just because he has the ability to just tackle the shit out of people, brings them to a national championship. And he rides a lawnmower.
So let's keep breaking this down.
Okay,
I just want
yeah.
to break this one thing down quick. With both of these guys, the thing that fuels them is pure anger. Both of them. That's just something to consider.
And when they
I guess.
both get in that,
because here's
what I'll say. My initial
blinded
instinct,
by their anger, like completely.
My initial
blinded.
instinct
and then they come
is
down
to-
quick. I would say Bobby Boucher probably comes down quicker from those
I have
than
two-
Happy Gilmore, but
I kind of have the opposite argument here. My initial instinct is to take Happy Gilmore because of his hockey background, and that just, you know what I mean? That resonates with me.
okay.
But when you bring up what you talked about on the anger factor, you see Bobby Boucher kick into this second gear when he gets angry like that. And on top of that, he kind of learns how to harness it, like make himself that angry, right? Where Happy Gilmore is actually trained in the movie, learns to do the opposite by Chubbs and kind of control his anger and reduce his anger. So that makes me think that, I mean, I know they'd both be angry, but I think that Happy Gilmore might have the instinct to try to suppress it at this point in his life, whereas Bobby Boucher would have the instinct to think about
You know what I
really
mean? Use it.
Yeah, opening up a can of whoop ass
Mm-hmm.
and just beating the getting that first punch in. I mean, from a physical standpoint, they're still the exact same person.
Yeah.
So if you take two Sandlers and fight them, it's going to be a great fight to the death. But you have to consider their characteristics, and I think that the true fighting background of Happy Gilmore, because that's what he does when he plays hockey,
Mm-hmm.
gives him an advantage there. But Bobby Boucher's ability to just that fight or
absolutely
flight
wreck
and
people.
always go towards the fight, right?
Yeah.
The second he gets it down and he just starts seeing other people's heads on heads and just fucking takes them off. I don't know. This is going to be what do you think? What are you thinking?
Well, I think that to your point about Happy Gilmore controlling his anger, I think that in the moment that wouldn't be a factor because I think he still loses control.
Yeah.
pretty
No, he would
easily.
lose control.
Exactly.
But I'm saying, so is this okay? So here's another question then that I guess probably should have been decided right away. Is this like they're jumping in a ring and fighting, or is this so they run into each other in the street?
Oh man, I
Like
don't know.
start like chirping at each other. Because if it's a situation where they're just getting into a ring and fighting,
Mhm.
I think that they're both going into it with an angry mentality, and I think that benefits Happy because he already knows he has to fight. Whereas if
Right.
they run into each other in the street, it might take Happy a little bit longer because he does learn to suppress that anger to
No, I
just
think it would still
try to
take
lose it
Bobby
and
a
beat
little
the
longer,
wheels.
because Bobby Boucher, even though you're right, he does learn how to use his anger to his benefit.
Yeah.
But that's just in the game. If they just ran into each
I
other,
think that
and he
no, but
met
you
this
see him do it
guy-
outside of the game, like when he tackles Colonel Sanders.
Right, but he had
that's
to
why-
he had to get to that point. You know what I mean?
So you think that Happy would have to be the one who actually engages the
Oh,
fight?
without a doubt, without a doubt.
If we're saying that Happy has to engage the fight, I think that I'm taking Happy Gilmore. But at the same time,
I think that
I don't know.
I think
they're
that
both like fairly pain resistant.
that's
Like,
true.
They both.
They can both take a lot. Man, I think that because I think because Happy Gilmore is more prepared for this showdown. And, like I said, I do think he'd have to be sort of the instigator. But once Bobby Boucher's button is pushed, once that switch is flipped, once the instigation is in effect, I mean, you're trying to stop a full speed train, right?
Yeah.
There's no stopping
yeah.
Bobby Boucher until whatever he's doing is done. The guy is a pure locomotive on legs. So, oh man, but it's so tough. This is a
But
tough
didn't
one.
you kind of say that you think Happy Gilmore has that same kind of mentality?
I think, well, like, both are obviously fueled by their anger, but Bobby Boucher's anger, because he spent his life repressing it, there's so much more pressure there that we see it come out that way. So while Happy Gilmore's anger would benefit him, it's not to the same level or in the same way that Bobby Boucher's does. So I think I might have to pick. I think I'm going to take Bobby, because the second he tags Happy Gilmore, I think it's over. Even though Happy has the high pain tolerance and he is a fighter, if Bobby Boucher clips you, you're toast.
I think that if we're saying that Happy is the one who's instigating this fight, though, that makes a big difference on. It's going to take Bobby a little while to get there, and Happy's already going to have the upper hand. On top of that, consider this.
But Happy doesn't know really what he's in for.
Theoretically, Mama is there, and Mama tells Bobby that Happy Gilmore is the devil, and and so then Bobby decides that he wants to start the fight.
Okay.
I think that then Bobby would win. But if we're saying that Happy's instigating the fight, he's starting it, he's chucking the first knuck, I think that Happy Gilmore wins this fight. And I understand your side. I don't think I could even argue more than we already have as to who would win. I think it's just going to come down to preference. And that's why I'm curious to see what happens on the internet. Because we are going to send this one to social media, as always. But I think I like Happy Gilmore here. I wish I wish we would have saved this one for a week that we had a guest on. Because I'm curious to see somebody else's perspective on it.
And I think that Happy Gilmore, like I said, he's got everything going for him. But at the end of the day, a couple things. One, like I said, Bobby Boucher, straight up freight train. The other thing that we touched on at the very beginning is Happy Gilmore's sort of there's no shortage of self-assurance, right? He's a little overconfident.
Yeah.
And I think that would definitely help lead to his downfall in this fight.
Yeah, that's a good point. I didn't think about that. It kind of goes back to when we were having the Thanos conversation, like versus the genie. Like, is the genie too confident in his abilities that we don't actually see? That's a good point. Happy's overconfidence could create an issue.
Yeah, I think that it would.
So
So I'm locking in Bobby Boucher.
I'm getting a phone call right now from Bauer.
trained.
Should we answer it and ask him quick? No explanation who he was picking to fight?
Tell him that we're on the
Right.
podcast. And
Alex,
Matthew.
we're live on the podcast right now. We have a question for you.
Wait, can I tell the craziest thing that just happened to me on the podcast?
Can you hear him, Andy?
Yeah, I can hear him. Hold him close there, but I can hear him.
All right, yeah, tell it.
Alright, I'm pulling out. I just have to go pick up my laundry in my old apartment, and this fucking dude, walks out in front of my car while I'm driving, so I stop, and there's a dead squirrel laying in the road. Dude grabs it from the back, like arms holding up, his fingers are holding up the squirrel's little arms, and, the claws are, sitting there, and he's, nurturing this very, very dead, hit with a car squirrel that is bleeding from the head. This thing is gushing blood on the dude's hand, and he's smoking a cigarette in the other hand. He just waves at me and then walks away with the squirrel, like it was his buddy.
Like he's holding hands with the squirrel.
You can't make that shit up.
The squirrel is so dead. I have no.
No, Andrew, holding it from the back, so that the squirrel's arms are dangling downward.
Oh, okay. I thought he was
Yeah,
holding
like,
the squirrel's
clear- no,
hand,
clearly dead.
like a little kid, like walking him down
Dude,
the
it was
street.
bleeding from the head. Like there was a hole in the squirrel's head.
Oh my God, that's a gruesome story.
So here's the question, and then I'll have to call you back when we finish up. We're doing the Who Would Win of the Week right now, and the Who Would Win of the Week is Bobby Boucher from The Waterboy versus Happy Gilmore from Happy Gilmore. Who do you think wins that fight? Instant reaction, no details. Who do you think wins?
Bobby Boucher's got to win.
Okay, thank you for your
Agreed.
service.
Agreed.
I'll call you back. I'll call you back when I'm off the pod.
Street fight, Happy Gilmore.
Street fight, Happy Gilmore.
I think Bobby takes either one. It doesn't. I think, but
All
I
right, bye,
honestly
Alex.
think that I honestly think that in a street fight, especially because the street fight has to be initiated by Gilmore, who in this situation isn't exactly gonna know what he's getting into. Just antagonizing this guy who seems quite sheepish.
Yeah, that's fair. I don't know. What a great phone call to get right now, though. What
Yeah.
a story. Dead squirrel. Alex takes Bobby. All right. So, I mean, I know he said street fight, but we'll say he took Bobby. So we'll say he sides with you. I'm gonna stick with Happy because I think that I know his overconfidence could, but I think that all in all, if he's instigating the fight, he's gonna have the upper hand on Bobby.
I disagree with that, but
Well, Andy,
it is what
listen.
it is. That's why it's.
I'm
a
not
question.
saying your argument isn't valid, but
Yeah.
that's why we discuss it. You know?
That's right. That's right.
I think that at the end of the day, once again, the internet will prove that I'm right. You want to know what one surprised me that I meant to bring up was it the last one? Let me look at our Instagram real quick.
Sandlot Ducks.
Yeah,
Because the Sandlot won on Instagram,
won by like
right?
66% on
Yeah,
Instagram
But
compared
on
to like.
Twitter, I think the Ducks won.
Oh, okay. I didn't see it on Twitter. I only looked at the Instagram pool, and I was very surprised.
Yeah. Well, it's a good matchup.
Yeah,
But
that's
I
a
don't
battle
know.
too.
Some people, sometimes on those, I'm like,
People might just
whenever
click to
somebody
see who.
whenever somebody votes for the one that I disagree with, I just go, you didn't really think about this as much as you should have.
No,
I know
think,
that
I
that's
know
just
for a
me.
fact that I've clicked on Instagram polls before just to see what the vote was and like
Yeah.
not put any thought to what I was clicking. But regardless, you got to count that as a winner. So I'm curious what people are going to say for this because these are both movies that I feel like everybody has seen. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like, how could you have lived life without seeing both of these movies? And if you have,
Get
I'm
on
not
it.
going to
What
say
are
what
you
I want
doing?
to say, but you're an idiot and you should just go watch them right now.
Yeah. So thanks for holding.
Oh,
back.
yeah. Yes. Yeah. Not trying to go to jail today. Well, I don't know. That was a good Who Would Win of the Week.
Yeah.
I think we kind of caught up a lot. It was mostly what this episode was. No guests, but sometimes it's nice just to have
I
us.
like
You know,
it. I
we
like
get,
it. Was a very
both
light
brothers.
episode.
yeah, we get both brothers. We get both viewpoints.
That's right.
One thing I will say, and it's not my fault, but when we were on vacation, a lot of people left on Sunday, and we were there till Monday. There was only 5 of us left Sunday night, and there was a lot of beers left over. So I drove home from vacation with probably 65 in the cooler.
Wow.
And probably another like 200 not in the cooler. Like we had a lot of leftover beer. So if anybody wants to stop by for a beer, it's mostly Busch Light. But we have a lot. We have a lot of seltzer too. But a lot of beer left over. Yeah, it was a fun time all in all. The vacation was great. Glad to get some of those stories out there, especially the Logar one.
Yeah.
That shit's hysterical.
That's awesome. We gotta
Um,
have him on.
Yeah,
Maybe we can
yeah,
have
we
him
do.
on next
He,
week.
my thing is, I think that we should, for the first time ever, have him come on after a few beers because he really loosens up after
Okay.
like a half
Yeah,
of a
yeah,
beer,
yeah.
just because he knows
Yeah.
he's in the mood to like, yep, I'm having some beers tonight.
Right.
So yeah, we should get him
We'll
on.
get-
Maybe
okay.
I'll have him. Maybe I'll have him. I'll have him in person. I'll have him come over here. We'll have him get some pops going, and
That would be
he
cool.
can, yeah. We can work something like that out. Yeah. I mean, you got anything else on your mind, Andy? We've been going for about an hour, so
I got a few.
not too
I got
long,
a
not
few
too
random
short.
thoughts, but nothing.
Oh,
like
okay, yeah, let's
crazy
hear them.
going here.
Hey, let's get into them.
I was thinking one today. Well, there's one that I keep thinking about, how I think, like, if reincarnation is a thing, which I hope it's not. I would hate to be reincarnated.
Have you been taking edibles today?
No, I wish. But if I were reincarnated, I think I'd be a terrible tree. I know some people are like, "Oh, tree, it's so peaceful." I think I'd be a bad tree. But the other thing I was thinking about was, like,
Why do you think you'd be a bad tree?
I think
Do you think you wouldn't be like, what would you be, the whopping willow, or like, because you can't do that? Like, would you just be
Ooh.
pissed at yourself?
oh, for sure. I would be
Then
as
that
I
doesn't
would be a
affect-
very self-loathing tree, without a doubt.
But that doesn't affect anybody else besides you. So people probably look at you like, "Oh my God, look at that peaceful tree."
And that would make me mad. That would make me so angry.
So really, internally, you're just mad at you wouldn't be a bad tree. You'd just be internally mad at yourself.
Yeah, but that would make me a bad tree.
To yourself, to nobody else.
I guess
Everybody else would just see a tree.
that does, okay, but that still makes it a bad tree.
Like your tree's giving out bad vibes.
It probably would. I feel like that would maybe come through in some way.
okay.
I would also.
I don't know how
would
that
hate-
happens.
What, is a squirrel gonna make its house in me? That
Oh,
would,
yeah.
That would be upsetting. You got bugs on you. That I don't like. What's the deal with bark?
Dogs
I don't
are,
understand
Dogs
it.
are gonna piss on you.
That doesn't bother
They're
me
gonna
that
sniff
much,
you.
honestly.
Okay, dog
As
piss
a tree,
dog piss is fine, but a squirrel is the devil. All right, next point. We're past the tree point.
I was wondering today, what the first ever, like, dirty joke was, like, sex joke, like joke
have you-
about sex.
There's a Family Guy episode about that.
Oh, is there really? I think you know
Yeah.
what? I think I've seen.
And they
that one.
hunt down the origin of dirty jokes, like where they're created. And there's like a secret society of guys who write dirty jokes, and they
But I was
find the
thinking,
first
like-
dirty joke ever.
I was
That was
thinking,
like
like-
Peter Griffin had that exact thought once.
I was thinking, like, legitimately though, not like a Family Guy thing. Like, legitimately, like when did sex become a funny
A thing you could joke about.
Right, and I was just thinking about this very little.
Probably
so all
like the
I've gotten
70s is
to-
my guess.
No way. It had to be before that. All I'm thinking about is, all I can get to is it had to be a certain time after people started wearing clothes regularly, but how long after? I wonder.
Yeah, but you have to remember that sex wasn't talked about in that way. Like, I really think that, like, you think that, like, when in, like, the 1920s or 1930s, like, when our grandparents were, like, first born, like, people were joking about sex?
yeah,
Like,
privately, absolutely.
maybe.
doubt.
Yeah, I guess that.
People did terrible things
Okay.
all the time. Here's,
Yeah, I guess like
so-
women, like, but we joke about that stuff now, but that's actually what life was back then. So I don't know if they were joking about it, or do you think they were
definitely
joking
were.
about?
They definitely were.
Okay.
Here's another example to prove my point. In the 1800s, I'm sorry, not the 1800s. Even before that, I should look up exactly when it was. It was centuries ago. Let's see. It might even been like the 1500s or something. Where's Google on here?
Come on, 1500s.
Wait for it. Wait, and let me tell you this. Hold
when
on.
was Pompeii? When did Pompeii go down? Look that up
Pompeii?
too. Yeah, the city that got covered in ash.
No, I know
like,
what
with the
Pompeii is,
volcano,
but
right?
what's that have to
Yeah,
do
look
with
that up
anything?
too. I'll tell you in a second.
Okay.
I want to know the
All right,
year
hold on.
that is compared to the year you're thinking of.
Maybe this is it. Okay, so. Oh, this is interesting. I can't believe. Oh God. Okay, this is not nearly as far back as I thought it would, but so in the late 1800s, there was this guy. I should have kept the Google up because now I don't remember what his name was. He's got this very French name because he was a French performer, and he was the most popular act in the world. Like, he got booked everywhere in Europe. He performed for kings and queens across Europe, especially in France. He was like I said, he was a very, very popular performer, and his act was he would walk out on stage, and on one side of the other end of the stage, there would be a candle, and he would walk over, and he would light the candle, and then he would walk back over to the other side of the stage, and he would turn like this, so that
And fart on
and he
it.
would fart and blow out the candle from across the stage.
So I did a little research, and
People thought that was wonderful.
I just looked, and I actually, from a book published in the 1400s, there's a line in it, and like the scene is a woman's giving birth, and the doctor like checks like her vagine
Yeah.
to see like if the baby's coming out, and the woman says to her, look also, and this is the exact quote, "Look also on the other side," said the poor creature. "My husband has sometimes taken that road." So that's an anal joke in the 1400s.
There you go.
So yeah, so we're both.
So
So there's your answer. Is a long fucking time.
Yeah.
What's your
But
next point?
I'm just
You can
curious
only
about
hang-
exactly when it was, because it, like I said, it had to be a certain number of years after people started wearing clothes regularly. But how long after? How long would that take to really instill itself in the culture and enough so that sex and nudity and stuff was seen as this, sort of, for lack of a better term, like vile or taboo subject or whatever, right?
Which would then make it a dirty joke.
Exactly. And then somebody, makes jokes about it.
Interesting.
So I have,
What's the
I have
next?
no
You got
idea.
any more? You got another point? You got another one on?
I don't know.
Or was
Those
that
were
it?
the ones I was thinking about today.
And while you were driving, probably hit 3 children.
It was while I
Mr.
was
Exit.
driving. I was thinking.
Jesus Christ, folks.
I was on my.
That's
way,
where we got to end it.
I was on my way here, and there was a train, and I was like, "Oh," it just popped in my head.
Trains are old.
Trains are old. I wonder if the first sex
Trains are
joke was
old.
made on a train. Real quick, best sex joke in any movie ever is North by Northwest, the Hitchcock movie. The way that movie ends is it's Cary Grant and the female lead in that movie, forgive me, I don't remember her name, are in this train car, and he brings her down off the bed, and they kind of have this little moment. Hard cut to the train that they're on going into a tunnel, and that's the end of the movie.
Good sex
It's
joke.
hilarious.
Another great movie that is riddled with one large sex joke is The Departed. The erectile dysfunction, like ongoing joke. Yeah, that's good stuff. All right. Well, I think what do you say? You think we're good for today?
Yeah,
or?
this was a very nice light episode.
Yeah, nice light episode. The people enjoy it. Who would win of the week was
Yeah.
great. We talked about sex, which is always important, and I'll
we all
keep you
got
guys updated on how my little dinner date goes.
Oh yeah, oh
and
my
hopefully, Dad doesn't bring anything up to Hannah about 401ks or stocks or when's the last time she read an issue of Forbes magazine or anything like that.
I got
and we
this.
Can sail through dinner
Hannah.
smoothly.
There's this article in the Wall Street Journal from today that you should take a look at.
I would almost guarantee that Hannah comes home with an article. But you know what?
A
And,
subscription.
Yeah. You know how I am, where I'm like very like quotey. Like I like quotes and like motivational articles.
Yeah.
So I do like that stuff. And she's kind of the same way, where she's big into like affirmations in a sense, like talk, like, you know what I mean. So I think that she'll at least entertain it,
Oh sure.
which is important when it comes to
yeah.
Jerry, because he's not all that funny, even though he thinks he is. Shout out
Cow
Dad.
manure.
Yeah.
Classic.
Oh Lord, that story's for another time.
Yeah.
All right,
yeah.
folks. Well, thanks for listening. Episode 20, correct?
Yep. In the
Right?
books.
Something like that. So we are at episode 20. Episode Ryan Metzler 2-0. Yeah, it was good fun, and I think that the people enjoy it. I'm glad we did it. Thanks for hopping on early,
Yeah,
Andy.
no sweat.
And go get your laundry.
Oh, fuck.
And maybe get some paint on your walls, eh?
Nah, probably not. That's
Oh, no,
somebody's
okay.
somebody's coming to do that at some point. We don't have. I don't know what this shade is. I'm so bad with colors.
You're bad with everything.
I'm
All
bad
right,
with a lot
folks.
of stuff. Thanks for listening, Matthew. I'll see you later.
Yeah.
Let's get out of here.
Sounds good, Andy.